documentary is about how credit cards changed the world. We all need money to survive, but will we really survive if we keep spending money we don't have? This is the situation the credit card has created for over 119 million Americans. Americans use credit cards for everything: gas, food, toys, clothes, and eating out. I was very surprised to find out the credit card is only about 50 years old. The more research I conducted, the more I realized this little plastic card has created a lot of really big problems. This economic health of our nation is at risk because of the credit card. The credit card was not invented by a big bank or a mega corporation. It was invented by three good friends, Frank McNorma, Alfred Bloomingdale, and Ralph Snyder, while they were enjoying a good meal. At the end of the dinner, McNorma realized he had forgotten his wallet. He came up with the idea of a card that could be used to pay for dinners and meals at a restaurant and then paid off at the end of the month. I wonder if these three friends could have imagined the impact of the credit card would have on the world economy and how it would create a mountain of debt for individuals and our nation. Probably not. The first credit card was just made out of paper. It was a diners club that could be used at a few different restaurants. It didn't take too long before credit cards were everywhere and being used by everyone. Credit cards were mailed out to the masses and people began to spend money like crazy. The credit card isn't all bad. Many people are responsible credit card users and pay their debt off every month. Some people only use credit cards for emergencies. I am sure having credit cards has helped many people, maybe even saved some lives. But in the big picture, the credit card has destroyed many more lives than it has helped and created enormous personal debt. The credit card made the economy look like it was booming. People are out there spending money, buying goods and products, and helping money circulate. But it's not real money, just the promise of money, and that is what creates the problem. What does the credit debt that has been created in a short 50 years look like? In 1948, there was not much personal debt. Some people had names and home mortgages, but not many. And most people didn't go out and buy things they didn't really need. Today, our personal credit card debt is already at $2.2 trillion. I don't even know what that number means. It does have 15 zeros and it makes me afraid. Will I have to pay that money back in some way? You bet. Me, my children, my grandchildren, and their grandchildren will be paying back that debt some way or another for a long time. In 2007, the average family had $10,000 in credit card debt. 15% of households had 10 or more credit cards. At least 5% had defaulted on their payments. These statistics were published before the economic crisis of 2009. 41% of cardholders between the age of 18 to 24 only make the minimum payment and have interest and penalties added to their balance every month. 70% of young adults with a credit card had no idea what their interest rate was. Penalty fees from credit cards added up to $20.5 billion in 2009. Another impact of having a credit card is the ability to buy whatever someone wants whenever they want. The bulk of credit card purchases are mostly in retail, often things like clothes, toys, TVs, electronics, etc. Have you ever read the book Little House on the Prairie? Remember how they just used what they had? They each had one dress. They grew and cooked and raised their own food. They never had money, let alone a credit card. They had little waste. They lived and worked the land and used what they needed, nothing less and nothing more. The Native American people were even better at this and thought the pioneers were wasteful. What would they say now? In the book Material World, the author, Peter Menzel, traveled the world and convinced people to take all their possessions and put them outside their homes. The contrast between a home that most likely does not have a credit card and a home in America where getting a credit card is fairly easy is shocking. People in Nepal have a few plates, a few pots, a few items of clothing, and some tools. People in America, by comparison, have multiple TVs, multiple cars, multiple kitchen items, toys, and non-essentials. Some people's stuff took up a whole block outside their house. Now, I am not saying that stuff is bad or you shouldn't have stuff if you can afford it, but what about the households that have stuff and can't really afford it? And really, do we need all that stuff? That's where the credit card and our personal debt comes into play. How many people have incurred debt and stuff that can't really afford it and doesn't really need that stuff they have? How much waste has been generated due to credit card and easy access to whatever your heart desires? The amount of waste that is generated is colossal and one that people don't like to discuss. Not only are lives and families burdened by debt, we throw away hordes of unwanted items every year due to the disposal nature of our society. The debt incurred by individual is personal debt. When they are unable to pay or go into bankruptcy, then the debt takes a toll on our economy, and that takes a toll on everyone. People with credit card debt often end up spending the cash they have to pay interest and penalties on credit cards, and this leaves them with less real money to buy the things they really need, like food. The invention of the credit card has changed their world in a negative manner. The use of the credit card has created a house of cards effect where there is no support and base underneath all the credit, and it puts our economy at greater risk than we know. Take out a few cards, an economic collapse might happen. Next time you go to use a credit card for something you don't really need, stop and put that money in your pocket for more important things. Break free of the debt and be happier. Thank you for watching my documentary.